From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 21st, 2018. U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton met with Israel's President Reuven Rivlin today in Jerusalem, part of Bolton's three-day visit to the country to discuss regional and national security issues. Rivlin told reporters afterwards, "We have discussed all the matters that we are very much concerned about, whether we are talking about Hamas in Gaza or the situation in Syria, the situation with the Hezbollah and the Iranians, of course, and the nuclear ability of Iran." Rivlin called Bolton a real great friend of the Israeli state and the Israeli people. Bolton said it's a very challenging time for both Israel and the United States and noted the important and close friendship and alliance between the governments and peoples of Israel and the U.S. Bolton today also visited Yad Vashem, Israel's memorial to the Holocaust, taking part in a memorial ceremony there. He wrote in the guest book, "In memory of the greatest tragedy which the spirit and resilience of the Jewish people has overcome, to help us prevent its like from ever happening again to anyone." A former guard at a Nazi concentration camp was taken from his New York City area home last night and deported. 95-year-old Yakif Pali was a guard at the Travniki concentration camp near Lublin, Poland in 1943. And was convicted of assisting in the persecution of prisoners there. He had been living in the United States since 1949. His citizenship was revoked in 2003 for lying about his past and for his actions during the war, but no country wanted to accept him, and he had been living in Queens, New York, for years. But Germany, who had refused Pali before, now has agreed to accept him in a gesture of taking, quote, moral responsibility. Director of the Simon Wiesenthal Center's Israel office, Nazi hunter Ephraim Zuroff, wrote on social media, finally, Travniki guard deported from U.S. to Germany. A 14-year campaign, he wrote, finally successful. Zuroff also wrote that Travniki guards do not deserve the privilege of living in the United States, and that was finally achieved last night. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders praised the Trump administration for righting this terrible injustice and getting the job done. A Jewish cultural center in Russia was targeted with anti-Semitic vandalism. Russian news site Cursor reported that a Baltic form of a swastika and slogans reading "Jews out of Russia, our land" were spray-painted on the wall of the Chatzer Rabotenu Nesinenu Belubavitch, located in the village of Liobavici last week. Local police are investigating. And a Polish entrepreneur has taken on the restoration of a Jewish cemetery in Poland, using his own funds to save the Jewish cemetery of Rivdiec, which had fallen into major disrepair after World War II. The benefactor, who wishes to remain anonymous, hired 10 workers to make repairs and restore tombstones, many of which had fallen over. The cemetery is under the care of the Bielsko-Biala Jewish community, who could no longer maintain the upkeep. The community's chair, Dorota Vivora, called the man a great Pole. She said to say thank you is not enough. And a synagogue in Ukraine has also been rescued. A Russian Jewish business magnate donated $1 million to renovate the 19th century synagogue in Drohobych, which was destroyed during the Holocaust. Viktor Felixovich Vekselberg donated $1 million to the project, which has been underway for about 5 years and was inaugurated earlier this month. The late Prime Minister of Israel, Menachem Begin, got married in the synagogue in 1936. It is now open to the public. Vekselberg also constructed a monument to the Jews of the community who were murdered during the Holocaust in the nearby Broniki forest. The synagogue, by the way, is depicted in the famous painting of Morishi Moshe Gottlieb, Jews Pray in the Synagogue on Yom Kippur. Uganda's Jewish community, known as the Abu Yadayas, are making history in their first ever Taglit birthright trip set to arrive in Israel today. The group's spiritual leader, Rabbi Gershom Sizomu, told the Times of Israel that the trip has been in the works for about a year, but was kept under the radar because of some controversy over the community's status as Jews. Sizomu said the Abu Yadayas have been living as practicing Jews for the past 100 years, and most of them were officially converted between 2002 and 2008 under the auspices of American conservative rabbis. But the community is not recognized by Israel's chief rabbinate. Sizomu wished the 40 young people from his community on the birthright trip today well on social media, saying they represent the long-awaited dream. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, August the 21st at 7 o'clock, a look at Jewish life in Krakow, Poland from Executive Director of its JCC, Jonathan Ornstein. At 8, conversations from the Jerusalem Post Conference 2018. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub leads a roundtable discussion of whether Israel's new basic law affirming Israel as the nation state of the Jewish people is a threat to Israeli democracy and American Jewry, with Thane Rosenbaum, Eric Yaffe, Micah Halpern, and Naomi Vilko. Then at 10:30, director David Novak talks about his documentary Finding Babel with Judy Gelman-Myers on New Jewish Cinema. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, my conversation with Executive Director of the Krakow JCC, Jonathan Ornstein, on In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, August the 21st, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.